r/AskReddit by Reddit. Mall Santas of Reddit. What is the weirdest thing a kid asked for Christmas? Please subscribe to my channel for more content. Not a Santa, but I have been a Mrs. Claus for the last few years and I always ask the kids what they want while we do our crafts. My favorite was this 4 to 5 year old girl that told me she wanted one of those loud horns. She made a gesture like she was using those canned air horns and she made a little horn sound. She said she wants to use it to wake up her baby brother when he naps in the daytime so he knows what it's like. Good reasoning skills. That kid's going places. Petty. I like her. My uncle was a Santa and he told me that one year a kid asked for a coffee maker because he wanted to start his own Starbucks coffee stand instead of a lemonade stand. Apparently business was not very good as a lemonade stand, but he noticed a lot of adults drink coffee, so he'd make coffee. That kid is probably a millionaire now. When he was feeling better, my Phil looked just like a real Santa. I used to mess with him around Christmas when we were out and about with a quick Rudolph needs to get back to the pole. We need to hurry. I got a lot of really great looks from kids. The best was a shy little girl that came up and asked for some specific doll. Without missing a beat he says, I'm not sure what the heck that is, but I'll have Legolas look into it. He always acted grumpy about, but we all know he loved every second. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I love reading these stories. I'll have to share them with him. I'm a teacher. I had one of my most difficult obstinate button pusher kids come in at recess to talk to me. He said he was worried he would not get what he really wanted, to be a real elf, move to the North Pole, and make all the presents. He had tears in his eyes and was the most sincere I had ever seen. Made me really appreciate how hard life was at home. He just wished for a way out. When I was like 9 I wrote a goodbye letter to my parents telling them Santa was going to pick me up and take me to the North Pole. I sat out in our car and waited on Santa to show up and take me away. The most dumb thing about this was that it was the middle of the summer. That's not dumb. They gotta make the presents year round. Source materials, coordinate shipments, hire contractors, repair machinery. It's a year round business. Summer would actually be prime time to hire. Hope isn't dumb. I was a Santa in 1997 for a small authentic Old West village. I was 17 at the time and doing some local theater and the costume lady was asked to find someone to be Santa for the weekend. She told me she thought of me because, well, you're not fat, but you're big. I'm 6 feet 6/1.98. So I put on a cheap costume that didn't fit well and the beard smelled like the last Santa threw up in it, and I waited in a prop shed in the plaza that was normally a sheriff office or something. Tall, skinny, smelly Santa in a shed sitting on a plastic lawn chair. It was no wonder all the children screamed when they were put on my lap. None of them asked for anything, in fact, as they were too busy being scared of me. I had a pair of girls and later a pair of guys from the local Christian high school dressed as elves on the first day to take Polaroids and collect money. On the second day they flaked and I was by myself all day. I charged people money to enter my creepy shed and take pictures of their own kids. *except for one young lady who was probably older than me and severely mentally disabled. Her parents were so apologetic because she was too old, but she sat on my lap and smiled at me with total naked joy. I can still see her face 20 years later. That last part is really heartwarming. We celebrate Christmas Eve with a large family gathering, traditional Polish food, and Santa. Either an uncle or unknown neighbor gets the honors. Drunk uncles and cousins end up on the roof. There have been injuries, making reindeer stomping noises, and the young kids really get excited. I'm mid-50s and this has been a tradition well before I was born. I have a ton of stories about Santa on Christmas Eve. One of the most memorable a few years ago when one of my cousin's kids played Santa. His girlfriend went up to sit on Santa's lap and get a gift. She didn't know it was him at first. The gift she opened was her ring and he proposed. It was really sweet, but it took her forever to say yes. I thought for a few minutes she was going to say no, in front of his entire extended family. So Santa got his wish this time. Another cousin ended up becoming a professional Santa, real beard and all. He is the official Santa of some major Christmas events in our area and is on local TV and radio. Off topic, sorry. I just love the fact this is my family member. He's an Uber driver as well and drives in full Santa garb during the holidays. I love my family. It's been a long family tradition. My grandpa and dad were both mall Santas. I had my first season last year. Don't know if I'm going to do it again. Weirdest thing a kid asked for. This really dirty child who was wearing urine-soaked sweet pants sat on my lap last year. He asked for a bag of Wiggly Rice. I asked him what Wiggly Rice was. Apparently it's the rice found on a piece of chicken he found in his backyard. He said it was yummy. Oh no. Grew up as a military brat with 2 older brothers. In Berlin, there was something called Snowball Satellite on military TV and kids could meet Santa, I think. I was like 1.5 years old, so I only know details from what I've been told and then later watching the show on VHS because we taped it. So anyway, my one brother was on Snowball Satellite, like 5 years old, and he made wishes for all of us, and when he started to say what he wanted for his little sister, me, he said he wanted some hair. Long contemplative pause, ribbons. Which is ironic either way, because I was a baby with barely any hair. Cold used some hair on my baby noggin, but hair ribbons wouldn't have made sense, because there wasn't enough hair. Anyways, my mom really loves telling this story and cracks up every time. Maybe just a little late to this party, but I've got an amusing one. One year my brother asked for a dustpan. This was well in advance of Christmas and everyone assumed he would just forget it and move on. But as a joke, one of his presents was in fact a shiny new dustpan complete with the little mini broom. Of course there were also the typical toys you'd expect a 4 or 5-year-old to enjoy, but he wasn't particularly interested in those. Instead, he spent most of the next week or so sweeping things into his dustpan. I'm get your photo with Santa in a department store on weekends. Weirdest ask, a cardboard box. The boy was 9 or 10 and confirmed 2 or 3 times that yes, all he wanted for Christmas was a cardboard box. Sadist ask, for mummy and daddy, to not forget me when I die. A little girl of 6 who was undergoing chemotherapy. Her mum told me afterwards that the doctors had given a pretty grim prognosis. #2 Sadist ask, a girl about 10 told me the standard I want a Barbie. Loud enough for mum to hear, and then while mum was Karening the photographer, whispers what I really want is for mum and dad to stop fighting and yelling all the time. Funniest ask, a 7 or 8-year-old who wanted a velociraptor and then proceeded to run around the Santa area showing me what a velociraptor looked like, screeching at the top of his lungs. Sure, it was probably funnier because it was the end of a shift, but it has stuck in my mind like none other. Edit. Clarification on the Santa thing. Not at a mall. At a high school Christmas concert as Santa. Had a kid say she didn't care. Maybe some candy or something. Her older brother said ask for something big. So she said something big. Me, how big? Her, I don't care. Me, if it's too big, I can't bring it to your house. Her, suddenly energized and nodding vigorously. Yeah, as big as. Pause, Nebraska. This was not in Nebraska. Me, you want something as big as Nebraska? No, I want Nebraska. Me, do you have someone special to you in Nebraska you want to visit? No, I just want Nebraska. And some candy or something. And she hops off, and her mom tells me that was the most she had ever talked to Santa. At the next year's Christmas concert she thanked me for not bringing her Nebraska because she got enough stuff for Christmas without it, then hopped off without asking for anything. Her mom asked if I was the one who started the Nebraska thing because she had been thanking all the Santas for not bringing Nebraska. Waited in line for 3 hours with my little brother. It's his turn and he looked Santa dead in the eye and said he wanted a decapitated Barbie doll. Christmas rolls by and my mom got it for him just to see what he was going to do. What did he do with it, you may ask? Well, the year prior he got a troll doll and little did we know he decapitated it and threw the body away. Now we have troll Barbie and none of us know why he felt the need to Frankenstein the poor dolls, but okay. Our son asked for 3 dead fish. He had been learning about the pilgrims who came to America and that they would put fish carcasses in the ground to act as a fertilizer for growing corn. Thought he'd like to grow some corn too. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comment section below.